Hi everyone! Today I'm going to be reviewing the new Tomb Raider movie. So without further ado, let's get to it. In this video I'm going to be covering some of the bad points and some of the good points as well. Now first of all, I thought that this Liu Ren character, he was okay, but I think like the characters in the video game were actually better than him. In this movie, Alicia Vikander pulls off a phenomenal performance as Lara Croft, but the script and the writing isn't exactly perfect though. So she did the best she could. So basically, I love the whole bow and arrow action in the film because that sort of translated well from the game into the movie itself. So yeah, instead of actually having a father figure like Roth in the video game, in this movie she had her actual father instead. But yeah, Matthias Vogel in the video game, he was a very spiritual person. But in the movie, he's almost the exact opposite of that. But, you know, in the video game, he was pretty much just as insane as he was in the movie. So, in this movie, Himiko, the Sun Queen, she spreads like a disease. Like, when anybody touches her remains, like the disease gets passed on to them. So, yeah, I think that kind of references, the Tomb Raider, the 10,000 Immortals novel, because, Lara basically had to find a cure for her friend Sam, in that novel, because she was apparently, possessed by Himiko. So, Himiko had basically taken over her body. But I mean, I haven't finished the entire novel yet, but that seems like it's going in that sort of territory. Even though Sam wasn't actually in this movie, because of course she was in the video game. So basically, Trinity, they are the villains in Rise of the Tomb Raider. Now, for some reason, Trinity were in this movie, even though, in the first Tomb Raider reboot video game, they weren't in it. Because, like I said, in the video games, Trinity didn't come into it until Rise of the Tomb Raider. So it's in this movie, Trinity have basically replaced the Solari that were in the video game. Yeah, it's very weird. It just brings up elements of the video games now and again throughout the entire film. I mean, I would have loved to have seen more of Lara on her own actually surviving. Like, like, when she gets fire arrows in the video game, for example, we didn't actually see any of those fire arrows in the movie. So, you know, and she didn't actually get the pickaxe or priaxe, whatever it's called, until the end of the movie. But there was a scene earlier in the movie where she was climbing a rock face, so she could have done with that triax earlier in the movie, really, couldn't she? So, yeah. So basically, right, Lara's dad ends up dying. There's a surprise. And, because he basically sacrifices himself and he blows up Himiko's remains and Himiko's tomb with dynamite. So basically, like, Warner Brothers seem to have a thing about killing people off, like they did with Superman. Now, Superman came back, so maybe, like, Lara's dad might come back somehow in a future movie. I don't fucking know. I mean, it seems like there's going to be, like, a film adaptation of Rise of the Tomb Raider as well, judging by how the movie ended. How the movie ended was kind of predictable. I knew that Nick Frost scene with the twin pistols would be at the end of the movie. Like, those of you who have played Rise of the Tomb Raider, well, me being one of those people, knew that Anna would turn out to be the villain in the movie because, well, she's the villain in Rise of the Tomb Raider. So, yeah, along with Constantine, obviously. Don't know whether Constantine is going to be in the Rise of the Tomb Raider movie. We'll just have to wait and bloody see, won't we? But I mean, it's like basically at the end of the film, like it reveals that Anna is the villain and she's part of Trinity. Like we knew, like everybody who's played Rise of the Tomb Raider knows that she's a villain anyway. So it's like it's no big shock really. Like I mean, maybe it's shocking, like, for people watching the movie who haven't played the game, but, you know, like, I mean, I guess, like, hang on, Rise of the Tomb Raider was released back in 2015, so maybe some people might have forgotten about Anna being the villain. But there we go. But yeah, to sum this movie up, it was like they tried to make a more condensed version of the video game, so there isn't time for the characters to develop properly. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, there are some positives, but there are some flaws as well, and a few plot holes. Like, I mean, it just makes me laugh, sorry. Like, basically, when Lara's dad, like, gets rid of Himiko, like, he blows up her tomb and whatnot, they can suddenly leave the island on a helicopter. Now, this point wasn't made clear in the film. Like, in the game, it was made much more clear. Like, Lara had to get rid of Himiko before her and her friends could leave the island. Like, loads of vehicles, like, tried to get on the island, and they tried to get off of the island, but they, like the planes, like, and the helicopters, like, ended up getting, like, knocked down by a storm, basically. Like lightning and such. So, yeah, that's what happened to the video game. So yeah, in the video game, there's this whole sequence where Lara has to, like, run away from a plane that's coming down. And then, yeah, like, and then I think she has to, like, if I remember rightly, I think she has to go through the wreckage of the plane. And then she eventually, like, falls out of the plane when the glass shatters. And then, like, she, like, parachutes, like, down to the ground, like, whilst hitting a couple of trees on the way down. So that scene was kind of recreated for the movie, but I mean, but without the bit where she runs away from the plane that's coming down. Like, instead, she just like traverses a plane that like, well, the remnants of a plane that had been there for bloody ages by the looks of it. Because there's like loads of like moss and stuff on it. Like, I just feel the threat of Himiko in this movie isn't as big as it was in the video game, because it just felt to me like they could have left the island whenever they wanted to in this movie, like, whereas in the video game they couldn't do that. Like, they could have, like, in this movie they could have easily overpowered Matthias and the others and just like gone off in the helicopter, because I think there was only like one storm in the entire movie, like when there was more storms in the video game, if I remember rightly. Like, I mean, even bloody when Lara and her dad are camping out in this movie, but I was just thinking, well, it should have been more like the video game where Lara has to actually like set up a camp for herself, like, and like, I don't know, like push some sticks against each other to create fire or whatever, like, and then just like like, well, she could have even done some hunting in this movie, just like what happens in the video game. But there we go. I mean, kind of a missed opportunity, I think. But yeah, this movie like at least captures the grittiness and the vulnerability of Lara, in the same way that the video game did. So yeah, I mean, I enjoyed like Derek Jacobi in this movie, even though he basically stayed in the same location for the entire movie, which was a ward rave. I mean, I know like Lara's father is an important character, but I just felt there was like too many scenes with her and her father. Like, it was just going over the top. Like, so like it dragged on a bit in places. Like, it was a bit slow in places, especially at the beginning of the film. Like, it takes some bloody ages to actually get to the island itself. So yeah, I mean, there's like this whole sequence at the start of the film where she's like trying to escape from people on a bike, like a cycling bike, and there's like bloody like a paint trail like she's creating by a paint can that is open, that is attached to her bike. And then she manages to escape the other cyclists by getting on like the back of a vehicle and going ah as she gets onto the back of it, which is very reminiscent of like the PS1 Tomb Raider games, where she goes ah every time she pulls herself up onto a ledge or whatever. So Matthias's death is much better in the video game, because that's when she uses her twin pistols for the first time. But that doesn't happen in the movie. Like, she actually gets her twin pistols like right at the end of the movie in the Nick Frost scene. Like, it would have made more sense if she just got the bloody twin pistols from Nick Frost the first time she meets him. Then she could have used them later on in the movie, like, on Matthias. Like, but of course, that would be too easy, wouldn't it? Because then she wouldn't have to use the bow, like the bow and the arrows. But there could be some sort of scenario where the twin pistols got stolen though, and she had to steal them back. But there we go. That's just an idea. So to sum up, it was a pretty good adaptation. I'll give it 4 stars out of 5 probably. Thank you very much, guys.